Breaking news, breaking news. Morehouse College just signed one of the best running backs in the nation. Meet Nick Woodford.
Control, third down. Let's go, boy!
Fun fact, he has more rushing yards in high school than Georgia football legend Herschel Walker. Never underestimate the impact of a great education and amazing college experience on where these recruits decide to go to college. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Reggie from HBCU Spotlight, and I'm back with another banger. If you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so that you will be alerted anytime that I upload a video. Without further ado, let's get into it. This is the story of yet another trailblazer who was out to bring black colleges back to prominence. This is the story of Nick, Mr. 6K Woodford. Woodford is a 5'10", 210-pound running back from the 478 Macon, Georgia. He was a zero-start recruit in this year's class of 2025. Keep that piece of information in mind as we continue the story. Woodford is a tank with deceptive speed. His sheer mass just looks like he shouldn't be able to move that fast, but he consistently left defenders looking at the back of his jersey. The man is a bowling ball. Better yet, a cannonball. There were very few times, if any, where one man was able to bring him down. His performances on the field are a reflection of his dedication to the weight room. He benches 330, squats 600, power cleans 315, runs a 4.53, and most impressive of all, he has a 4.0 GPA. I'm from the same hometown, and I've heard about this guy for years. I made it a point to subscribe to an app that lets you watch high school football games from all over the country. I also showed up to the state championship game, in which he led his Northeast Raiders team to a historic 12-3 season, where they finished the state champ runner-ups. Why had I been hearing about him for years? And why do they call him Mr. 6K? Woodford put up video game numbers during his high school football career. He didn't get any burn on varsity until his sophomore year. And boy oh boy, his debut season was one for the records. That year, he rushed for 2,728 yards and 40 touchdowns, averaging 10 yards a carry and 227 yards a game. He was 25th in the country in rushing that year and second in the state, behind Jermivy Tucker, who rushed for 2,916 yards that year, in which was his senior season. He ended up walking on at Georgia State. I'm not sure how in the world that happened or what's going on with the recruiting in Georgia, but this needs to be investigated. That's almost criminal. Woodford's junior year was supposed to be his huge breakout showcase, where the big schools would start calling, but injuries reared their ugly head as the bruiser went down with a torn ACL after 6 games.
Kick. Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick. Kick. Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick.
He still rushed for 958 yards and 11 touchdowns. That added up to be 158 yards a game on 10 yards a carry. He rushed for 2,603 yards and 37 touchdowns. That added up to 185 yards a game and, you guessed it, 10 yards a carry. Took his team to the state title, where they came up short to 4-star commit and DB/wide receiver Lagonza Hayward. Nick finished his high school career with 6,282 yards, which ranked him 25th in Georgia football history, behind notable players like Georgia legend Nick Chubb, former Alabama player that just transferred to Michigan, Justin Hayes, and the aforementioned under-recruited player Jermivy Tucker. The two players he was ahead of may be even more interesting. The first one being the legend of all legends at the running back position, Herschel Walker. Walker rushed for 6,137 yards while he was a part of the Trojans of Johnson County and Wrightsboro, Georgia. Woodford had 145 yards more than Walker. The margin was much closer between Nick Woodford and fellow Macon, Georgia/Bibb County legend Travis Evans. Evans was Woodford 20 years ago. I couldn't find any highlights on Evans because it hurts me to say this. 2003 was over 20 years ago. Woodford passed what may have been the best running back in the city's history by just 3 yards. I've seen this debate go on in a couple Facebook groups, and I gotta know the answer. If you're from Macon and you know who Evans is, who do you think was a better player in high school between him and Nick? Leave a comment down below. Fast forward to today and getting back on track. I must say that ranking 25th in the state's history in rushing and not being ranked nationally is criminal. What do y'all think? If you think he deserved a star, how many? But if not, why? Put that down in the comments. Not only is he a great athlete on the field, Mr. 6K is even more impressive off the field. First of all, he's his school's valedictorian. I can literally stop right there. But he is also a great role model. During his amazing high school career, he would often take time to visit elementary and middle schools to speak to and motivate the younger kids. When you are a young kid, the players at the high schools are like superheroes. So it was amazing that he did that. Not only was he smart and reachable, but he was also humble and cognizant on what he was doing. He was quoted as saying this on a Recruit Georgia website, quote, "I'm a coachable player. My work ethic is amazing on the field and off. I'm disciplined. I have effort, great attitude, and toughness. I believe I can be an impact to the coaches, players, and also to teachers. I'm consistent and have great dedication. I am driven to win." End quote. It doesn't get much more textbook than that. That's what you want to hear from the leader of your program. He had offers from several programs like Wake Forest, Army, Georgia Southern, Navy, Yale, Liberty, and Morehouse. I don't have the inside scoop, but it appears that Wake Forest was in the top of his final considerations, as it is still pinned to his social media account. He shook up the HBCU world by committing to Morehouse College, and they don't even realize it. Shout out to Grambling alum and now Morehouse running back coach Cornelius Walker for doing what needed to be done to land a player that has the ability to see the field very early on. Scouts, I'm not sure what's going on, but stop sleeping on the talent in Georgia. You heard some of the stats and people I mentioned, but almost none of them had HBCU offers. You can make it to the NFL from an HBCU, and if it wasn't so lucrative to play for these big Power 4 programs, the migration back home would have happened years ago. Stop sleeping on the talent. I would love to be an extra set of eyes to scouts on players that they just may not know about. Players hit my inbox all the time on X asking for coverage. Tap in on X at spotlight_HBCU or on IG at HBCU_spotlight. I almost ended the video, but then I said, let me do a little bit more research. First of all, the Maroon Tigers have an impressive lineup of coaches. Their current head coach is former Atlanta Falcon wide receiver Terrence Mathis. Their defensive analyst is Israel Byrd, and their O-line coach is Bob Whitfield. And they all have extensive NFL experience. And they all were hired back in 2024. So very, very recently. I haven't heard it's being talked about much, but I can see recruits wanting to stay in Atlanta and play for guys like these. I'm sure the quality of the coaches will eventually reflect to the output on the field, but that definitely has not happened yet because last year, the run game was bad. They were downright dreadful on the ground. I went to the school's website and their leading rusher had, get this, a total of 144 yards last year in 10 games played. I figured, maybe they were a pass heavy team, so I'll give them a pass. But then I looked at their quarterback play. The QB only threw for 1,400 yards. So basically, the team sucked on offense. If Nick gets a shot next year, man, I know my boy gonna eat. And he gets the chance to play super early. That would be if the line is solid. Woodford is a high D1 level talent. Maybe a mid D1 level, but definitely more than D2. Morehouse has a shot to turn some heads next year. If the coaches can put some talent around him and change the scheme a little bit, and definitely work on the blocking up front. If you are an offensive lineman and want a chance to go to a great school with an amazing alumni foundation, Morehouse is definitely where it's at. I can't speak for the NIL situation because I have no idea about all of that, but hit up some of their coaches. I'm not sure why they don't have their contact information on their official website, but O-linemen, reach out to their O-line NFL legend coach, Bob Whitfield, on X at @WhatUpBob. Be professional, have the grades, and send some film. Do all that and let's get to work. Thanks for watching the video. If you made it to the end, type in Mr. 6K down in the comments. I want to hear from y'all. What do you think of this entire situation? Had you heard of Nick Woodford before this video? Do you think he will make an impact at Morehouse during his 4 years on campus? And do you think the HBCUs are sleeping on talent in the state of Georgia? Or am I just overreacting? As always, if you enjoyed the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. I gave the other channels time to catch up, but I'm back. We are still on the road to 20K. From us, over here at HBCU Spotlight, we out of here. Peace.